At 8:14 on a Tuesday morning, Emily found a white envelope outside her apartment. There was no stamp, no address, and no name on the front. Inside was a wedding invitation. The bride's name was Emily Carter. The wedding was tomorrow. Emily laughed at first. Someone had to be playing a joke. Then she read the invitation again. The bride was definitely her. Same full name, same middle initial. Even the venue was printed clearly. But Emily had never planned a wedding, and she was not even dating anyone. She searched the venue online. It was an old lakeside hotel 2 hours outside Chicago. The photographs looked familiar, but Emily could not understand why. Then she noticed something in one picture. Standing near the entrance was a woman who looked exactly like her. Emily zoomed into the photograph until the image became blurry. The woman was wearing a wedding dress. Her face looked exactly like Emily's. She saved the picture and called her best friend Sarah. Sarah laughed nervously and told her to forget about it. That evening, Emily received a text from an unknown number. It contained only one sentence. "You received the invitation because you were supposed to?" Before she could reply, another message appeared. "Please come alone." Emily stared at the screen, suddenly afraid. Emily did not sleep that night. She told herself it was a prank. But something kept bothering her. The photograph, the invitation, the message, "By sunrise." Curiosity had defeated fear. She put the invitation in her bag, started her car, and drove toward the hotel. The hotel looked exactly like the photograph. Emily parked outside and immediately noticed something strange. Every window was dark, except one on the third floor. As she approached the entrance, the old doors opened by themselves. Someone inside whispered her name. Inside, the hotel looked abandoned. Yet everything was prepared for a wedding. White flowers covered the reception tables. Candles burned beside untouched glasses. A guest book sat open near the entrance. Emily walked closer and saw hundreds of signatures. Every guest had signed her name. Sap. Emily turned the pages faster. Emily Carter. Emily Carter. Emily Carter. Every page contained the same name, written in different handwriting. Then she reached the final page. One sentence had been written beneath the signatures. She finally remembered. A sound came from the hallway. Emily followed it into a room filled with photographs. She stopped breathing. The walls showed dozens of pictures of her. Emily as a child, Emily at school, Emily at 20, Emily on the exact morning she received the invitation. Then Emily saw the newest photograph. It showed her standing inside that very room, staring at the photographs. But the picture had been taken only seconds earlier. She looked at the camera, then at the photograph again. Someone had been watching her the entire time. A man's voice came from behind her. "You are earlier than last time?" Emily turned quickly. A man in a black suit stood near the doorway. He looked familiar, but she could not place him. He smiled sadly and said, "You always forget this part." Emily asked who he was. The man did not answer. Instead, he handed her a second photograph. It showed Emily beside him, wearing the wedding dress. They were smiling. On the back, someone had written a date from 5 years earlier. Emily suddenly felt dizzy. 5 years earlier. The words kept repeating in Emily's head. She had no memory of this man. No memory of this hotel. No memory of a wedding. Then he said something that made her blood run cold. "You asked me to erase it because you could not survive remembering." Emily suddenly remembered the lake, rain, a car accident, his hand holding hers. She remembered screaming his name. Then everything disappeared again. The man told her his name was Daniel. "You loved me," he said. "Then you asked me to make you forget." Emily refused to believe him. Daniel led her toward a locked ballroom. "You were not supposed to come back," he said. But you kept dreaming about this place. Emily looked through the glass and saw a wedding aisle. At the end stood another version of herself. The woman at the altar slowly turned. It was Emily. Same face, same eyes, same dress from the photograph. She smiled and whispered something Emily could not hear. Daniel looked at Emily and said, "That is the part you always run from." Emily stepped closer. The other woman was not another person. It was a memory. A version of Emily from 5 years earlier. She remembered the truth now. Daniel had died in the accident. Emily could not accept it. So she created this place in her mind and returned every year. Daniel looked at her one final time. "You do not have to come back anymore?" Emily began crying. She finally understood the invitation. It was not asking her to marry anyone. It was asking her to say goodbye to the person she had refused to lose. Emily walked toward Daniel and held him. For the first time, she remembered everything. Their first date, their apartment, their plans, the accident. Then Daniel slowly disappeared from her arms. The ballroom became empty, and the candles went out one by one. Emily woke inside her car, outside the hotel. Morning sunlight covered the lake. The building looked abandoned. There was no wedding, no flowers, and no Daniel. On the passenger seat lay the invitation. The bride's name had disappeared. Only one word remained. Goodbye. Emily returned home and searched Daniel's name. She found an old news article about a fatal accident 5 years earlier. The victim was Daniel Carter. Emily stared at the screen. She had forgotten everything, including that she had once been his wife. Then her phone received one final message. The message came from an unknown number. It contained only 4 words. "Thank you for remembering me." Emily looked toward the window, across the street. A man in a black coat stood beneath a streetlight. She blinked. He was gone. On her desk, the invitation disappeared. Police later found no record of the hotel being used for weddings that year. Emily never found the mysterious sender. She kept one photograph from that night, the only proof Daniel had ever been there. Sometimes she still wakes at 2:17 a.m., convinced someone is calling her name.